Hello and welcome to this demo video. Before we get started, I'd just like to explain to you a few things which will relate to all of the basic range spreadsheets. Number one, there is a key on the intro and setup tab of all of the spreadsheets showing what the different color headers mean. The blue headers mean that the cell's formulated, so it's locked and you can't change it. The yellow headers are where you can input data, and occasionally there might be some gray headers, which is just a different kind of data input, but we'll include instructions as and when that happens. The other thing that you can be aware of is there are ways in which you can damage the spreadsheet. So please do take a look at the link where you see this image, which will take you to a web page to show you how to better preserve your spreadsheet. Please feel free to keep a blank version of the spreadsheet somewhere, so that if you do mess up a spreadsheet that you're using, you can in fact just open a new one, a blank one. And some of the spreadsheets only last for a year, and then you've got a blank one to start the following year. So do keep a blank copy as a backup somewhere. And lastly, wherever you see this image, you can click on it. It'll take you back to the store where you purchased this product to see if you've got anything, any more products. One last thing, to see a demo video, you can click on this on a link that looks like this in order to go to the demo video, but that'll take you to the most recent demo. If in fact we've done upgrades and you're using an older version and you'd like to see the demo relating to your version, then do click on the watch on YouTube link, which will take you to that specific video on YouTube. So I think that's all you need to know. So without further ado, let's move on to this demo video. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to this demo video for the task calendar. Now, a task calendar, this is something that, again, I've received a few inquiries about from people who want to visualize their calendar. It's an individual calendar, usually for freelancers or people with very small businesses, or those of you who want to kind of show what you've got on each day when you're doing various projects, that kind of thing. It's really just to visualize what you need to do. It's kind of like a task list, but it just shows it on a calendar, and it's quite a visual thing. Let me show you how the spreadsheet works. When you want to set it up, put in some categories of the different tasks that you may do. So you want to categorize your tasks. This is really just so that on the charts they show up in different colors based on the category that you want to do. So you can put in some categories. Select when you closed, or you close Sundays only, no closure, or Saturdays and Sundays. What do you do on bank holidays, open or close, and your starting time and your closing time. Now, I am aware this is not an exact science. If you sometimes work Saturdays, just put closed on Sundays. If you sometimes work Sundays, put no closure. This doesn't really matter. It's really just a case of being able to input appointments so the spreadsheet knows what to lay out, how to show to you. The other thing is your starting time and your ending time. Maybe you work 9 to 5 most days, maybe you don't, maybe you work until 8. It doesn't really matter. Again, look at the most you'll work on one day and put those hours in. The only real reason I have this is because it doesn't, if you say, well, I never work beyond 5, it doesn't bother showing you the times beyond 5, and it can then show you every half-hour slot rather than every hour slot. So put in the maximum time that you work on any of those given days into those particular times, because if you never work, say, beyond 8 p.m., then at least it knows not to show you beyond 8 p.m. and it can give you more options. Lastly but not least, bank holiday changes. 9 times out of 10 you can leave this blank. The spreadsheet will work out UK bank holidays. What it doesn't do is, for argument's sake, like in 2020, where we are when we record this video, I know this year one of the bank holidays has changed. So what you do is, only for bank holiday changes, which you know happens very few and far between, come in, put the original bank holiday. Remember to put the year as well of the bank holiday. It'll then tick to say, yes, I found that bank holiday. If it ticks to say, yes, I found the bank holiday, for example, 1st of Jan 2020, it doesn't recognize, oh yeah, I didn't put the 2020, 1st of Jan 2020, it says, yes, I found that holiday because it knows it's one of the holidays. If you then went and said that's moved to the 2nd of January 2020 for some strange reason, it would then go, yes, of course, and it would move that bank holiday. It would ignore the original one, and put in the new bank holiday. So that's only for bank holiday changes. If it doesn't, leave that blank. And I think that's all there is as far as setting up is concerned. The only thing then to do are input your tasks. Each task, one below the other, very simple. put in the description, select which category they're in, put in the start date, select the start time, select the end time. End date, you only have to put that in if you are going over from one day to another. So if you start one day and end another day, put it in. Well, that's another reason why you put your end times, because then what it'll do is it'll show only until 5 p.m. because we said we close at 5, and it'll start the next morning at 9 p.m. and it won't show all the hours in between. So if you've got an end date, put the end date in. If you don't, if it's on the same day, then just simply leave it blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a new here, test task 14, and I'm going to say it is a client meeting, and let's put it in today. So I'm recording this on the 10th of February. You see these go yellow to tell you that it's missing information, so it needs a time. So let's say we're starting at 10 and we're ending at 12. So there we go. It's gone red because we're actually busy. It's current. It's busy at the moment. That's why it's gone red, so that's fine. If there are any errors, like if you have an ending time before the starting time, or if you're missing a date, or if you put end date before start date, or whatever the case might be, if there's something wrong with information, you'll get an error here, and it'll tell you a number. So you can come up here and see which one it is. You're either missing time date, or you've got negative time, or you're missing category, or you've selected when it's closed. So if I select 1900 hours here, it tells me that it'll show me that it's closed at that time. So there, it's number 4. There's one of them that says it's closed. You can't do that. Let's just put it as 1300. As you can see, when I click enter, it does take a while to recalculate. That's fine. So now when we put the tasks in, that's all you really need to have to do. Tasks. You can sort by any of these columns. If you want to remove a task, it's very simple. You just highlight that particular task, right click, clear contents, and then just resort it again by a starting date or time or whatever you want to do. The other thing as well is if the task is done, you can come and click done, and it'll then show that task is being done, and it'll go a bit darker green to say it's done. When you click done, it takes it off the calendar. That's the only real advantage of clicking done, is it will remove it from the calendar. If you don't click done, it'll just assume that it's done. You can see it says presumed complete once the time frame has actually happened. So you don't have to click done to say it's done. It's not going to keep warning you about tasks you haven't clicked as done, but it will remove it from the calendar if you go and check the done. Then the last thing to do, really just have a look at your visual layout. You've got your monthly layout, which is over here. You select which month, whichever month you select here, whichever day you select here, it'll show you that respective month, and it'll show you that day that you've selected as the current day. So you can see here, current day. I've selected 30th of Jan because that's when the data was, staff meeting and planning. And when you go to the day, it shows you the day that you've input here as that particular day, and it'll list your tasks, color coordinate them, and show you when during the day you've got those 2 particular tasks on. If I went back to the month and I left that blank, give it a bit of time to calculate, what it'll do now is it'll use today's month, today's date. So use today month, and as it says, today is the 10th of February 2020. I'm recording this. So there it says client meeting, and it's got today. So if you leave it blank, it will by default show you the current month. And then when you click on the day, it will show you that particular day. And as you can see, I'm currently between 10:30 and 11, which is correct. And that's showing me where I am currently today, and what I've got on at the moment is that particular task meeting. So it's very simple. It's not a lot to do. It's quite a complicated spreadsheet behind the scenes, working out all of the stuff to give you that visual representation. That's why it takes a fair bit of time to actually refresh when you do add information. But you just keep your tasks up to date with the correct information here. Do your setup properly with the task categories. Those will be able to be selected here, whatever you put in on the first page. And then these 2 pages are really just governed by what date you put in here. Again, if you leave a blank, it takes the current date and what's on your task list, and it's as simple as that. So I hope that that's useful to you. I know there are a few freelancers that request this. If this is something you're going to use, I think it will be useful. And if that is the case, I wish you all the best. Thank you and goodbye.